Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the full council meeting of Weymouth Town Council, Wednesday, the 25th of February. I now declare the meeting of this council open. Apologies for absence. We've received apologies from Councillor Simon Clifford and Councillor David Harris. Has anybody got any others? Yes. Then, as we normally do, I'd like to propose, and Councillor Taylor will second, that this item be accepted. Everybody in favour, please? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 3, to receive declarations of interest. None being pre-notified. Are there any other declarations? Councillor Hope.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I will declare a interest in item 13 being the statement of reasonable expectations as the capital lead on this piece of work at Dorset Council.
Councillor Taylor.
If I can come in on the same thing, I think because we've got a vote on this at Cabinet at Dorset Council, I ought to be.
Anybody else? Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, on the same thing, just seeking advice from the town clerk and all Dorset councillors declare an interest, bearing in mind that this is a statement of reasonable expectation between the Weymouth Town Council and Dorset Council, which are both members of both bodies or not, or we okay in that regard.
I think if I may, Madam Mayor, that I would suggest that you are able to represent your residents as a town councillor. The difference is that Councillor Taylor and Councillor Hope will be part of the decision making on this.
Yeah. Right, so we now turn to the minutes, which were of the meeting held on the 14th of January, and the officer's recommendations to accept them as a true and accurate record of that meeting, and they to be signed as such. Please could I ask for a proposer? Councillor O'Leary, and a seconder, Councillor Sybil. And I go to the vote. All those in favour?
That is unanimous, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Now we come to item 5, councillors' questions. Just please note that if councillor wishes to ask questions, it is an invitation. It is not an invitation to enter into debate tonight. Councillor Weller, I know that you would like to say a few words on the sad loss of Councillor Sandy West, the long-standing Portland councillor, and also an extremely active member of both our communities who has constantly strived to help organisations and residents both on the island and here in Weymouth. Councillor Weller.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. How do you sum up Councillor Sandy West? It's difficult to know where to start. Sandy was such a fearsome advocate and supporter of all things Portland that people are often surprised to discover she was not a local Portlander. On moving to Portland, she adopted the island hook, line and sinker. Often a cliche, Sandy really was a force of nature. You always knew she was in the room. There were few issues on Portland that Sandy didn't have a hand in. I don't have time to list everything she did here. Suffice to say, if it happened on Portland, Sandy was there. Initially keen to be a Portland Town Councillor, she came to understand that to make a significant impact for the good of Portland, she needed a seat on Weymouth Portland Borough Council. And so she fought and gained that place. She served on both for many, many years and served as Mayor of Portland a number of times. From my memory, at least 3, but possibly more. Sandy remained on Portland Town Council after local government reorganisation. She was delighted that Portland had resumed its independence from Weymouth. Taken from them, stolen from them, Sandy would say, in 1974. She would seek out anyone she thought could help the people of Portland, especially those she saw as disadvantaged. For some time, I represented Underhill as part of White Regis and Underhill Board on Dorset County Council, and so had the privilege to work closely with Sandy. Away from her council role, Sandy was community engagement lead at Asda Supermarket, organising poppy appeals, charity bag packings, sponsorships, dressing up in daft costumes, and everything in between. I remember an eventful outing she and I made with a number of others to 10 Downing Street, to deliver a petition to save the search and rescue helicopter on Portland. Eating lunch in the quiet atmosphere of Portcullis House with our then MP Richard Drax, Sandy made sure that every MP there knew where we came from, it was Portland, and exactly why we were there. Despite that and huge support, sadly we were unsuccessful in retaining the helicopter. She and I were very disappointed. Sandy was extremely proud to be part of the 2012 Olympics and Paralympics as a games maker. She absolutely loved that experience and had some great stories to share. Woe betide anyone who suggested the sailing was being hosted by Weymouth. She also spent time at the Tower of London with the big poppy exhibition that they did there. Sandy absolutely got social media, so everything she did was recorded on Facebook. Finally, Sandy was strongly family focused. She was fiercely proud of all her family and was always keen to tell you about her husband and their children. I know she will have left a huge hole in their lives. I hope that in the future, the knowledge that Sandy was loved and respected by everyone who knew her or whose lives she touched will be a comfort to them. R.I.P. Sandy, a life well lived.
Thank you, Councillor Weller. The next item is to receive my announcements. You'd like to know it's been quite a quiet period, so you haven't got to listen to a huge list this week. The first event I was invited to since our last meeting was the Louviers Society AGM, at which Kevin Brooks was re-elected as their chairman. Later that week, I attended the Holocaust Memorial Day ceremony. Due to the torrential rain, the ceremony this year was held here in this council chamber. This proved to be a popular move and was well attended by over 40 people. It was a moving ceremony with everyone present invited to place a pebble in remembrance around a lighted candle beside the photo of Anne Frank. This year, the ceremony included a poem which was read by a Weymouth resident whose brother had indeed been locked up inside the Manchester synagogue during the terrible shooting late last year. Thank you to those councillors who attended. I was then guest at the annual dinner of the Honorary Court Highclere No. 1, Weymouth. For their annual dinner, this organisation was established in October 1887 by the then town clerk of Weymouth and Malcolm Regis, Pelly Hooper. In February, I attended the annual Shakespeare by the Sea presentation held at the Pavilion Theatre, which was staged by the Prince of Wales School in Dorchester, together with St John's and South Hill Primary Schools here in Weymouth. And what an amazing evening it was. The young people had obviously put in a lot of time and effort for their performance, and they are all to be congratulated along with all the staff that helped them. The following week, I attended the dinosaur run on the beach. The weather could not have been kinder, with the sunshine bringing out over 350 registered dinosaurs. I was, however, upstaged by our local TV star, James Baker from The Traitors. He was a real attraction, and his friendly and easy manner and willingness to have endless selfies and chat with people really made the event a great success and a pleasure to be part of. My final visit this time has been to spend an evening with the Weymouth Angling Club presenting their wonderful array of cups and trophies. However, my diary is now filling up and I have many more visits planned. But coming up, if I may, we're thrilled that the Radio 1 breakfast presenter, Greg James, is starting his epic cycling challenge in Weymouth on Friday the 13th of March. Greg is undertaking a 1,000-kilometre ride to Edinburgh in aid of Comics Relief Red Nose Day. Greg has family connections in Weymouth, and I'm sure he'll receive a very warm welcome as he sets off on his tandem on the 13th of March. Please do come and join us on the Esplanade to wave him off, and exact times and everything will be circulated shortly. And I could not let this evening pass without reminding you all that on Friday the 10th of April, I'm holding my Mayor's Charity Evening, a 60s, 70s disco at the Centenary Club starting at 7:30. Thanks to sponsors, all money raised will go directly to Worldmore Hospice Care, my chosen charity this year. Come along and dance the evening away. And I would encourage you to dress up for the occasion, as there will be prizes for the best costumes together with an excellent raffle. Why not invite your friends to join us? Almost 80 tickets have already been sold, so please don't delay in purchasing your tickets from Worldmore website. And Nikki is very kindly handling all the raffle prizes, so if you can donate a raffle prize, I'd be most grateful. And 2 days later, I will be holding my Mayor's Civic Service at Holy Trinity Church, starting at 3 p.m. And I believe all councillors have received an invitation. And I'd greatly appreciate you joining me as we give thanks for our town and the wonderful work that goes on by hundreds and hundreds of volunteers to improve the lives of our residents. Thank you. Right, we now come to item 7. Updates from Dorset councillors. Would any Dorset councillor Thurman?
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to let members know, there's been a little bit of press recently about the Western subways. I only mention this because Councillor Rell and then our Radipole councillors as well, it kind of all kind of joins us together at that point. Just to let you know that I've been in talks positively with a youth group who is keen to get involved and basically clean up the area. We've got graffiti down there, stickers on the cycleway signage, we've got missing mirrors, and we had lights that have gone out. Councillor Hope sorted out the lights. I'm working with the youth group and I've engaged with an artist that hopefully we're going to run a workshop. So it's not going to be a professional artist that will do the art. It will actually be an artist working with young people from Weymouth that will do their own artwork there, and we'll work it that way. There's some funding to be had. All right, Councillor Civil. But we really are quite positive about this. It's been in a dreadful state for a few years, ever since the good work that Councillor Taylor did with an artist down there in the RSPB kind of thing. But we're looking at both subways to be improved and hopefully something that can sort of brighten up that area and bring it back some life.
Thank you.
If I may come back on that one, I hope you mean the council needs to fund some of that.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, I thought it was lovely on social media, your mother correcting you to remind you to include everything
Yeah.
for the underpass that you'd neglected.
Shout out to Jane Firm.
Any other Dorset councillors like to say? No. Oh, Councillor Taylor.
I just wanted to talk about the Dorset Council's housing allocation policy that went through overview committee a couple of weeks ago. Is going to cabinet next week. That will be an allocations policy about how we allocate houses, social houses, to our residents. It's basically based on legislation and guidance, but there are some changes coming in that will mean that we think of the about 7,000 who are on the register, about 2,500 are going to have to reapply. So if you start picking up things from your residents that they're being asked to reapply, what's all this about? Come to me and I'll quite happily work with them on their reapplication.
Thank you. And we move on to the next item, which is public questions. No questions have been received. I'm presuming nothing. No. So we move then straight on to item number 9, the interim internal audit report. And Ian, now I'm going to take us through this, please.
Madam Mayor, the next 4 items, members, are in relation to the governance arrangements which by law we need to bring before full council to get approved. Apologies for those who have sat on it already, the Finance and Governance Committee, because I will be saying quite a lot of the same sort of things. I always sort of say at this stage that some of these items seem a bit strange coming before full council, but it is worth remembering that the legislation that covers us also covers councils who have just got a single town clerk, and therefore it's the councils who provide that segregation of duty and due diligence. So the first item which we'll talk through is the internal audit report. Members who have read through that will see that it's quite a substantive report. This year there's 20 pages, and we purposely asked that the internal auditor challenge everything that they can to make sure that actually everything is in place and as it should be. I'm pleased to report, members, that the outcome of that internal audit, which was undertaken, was that they concluded through their sample testing that they did not uncover any errors or misstatements that require reporting to the external auditor at this time, nor did they identify any significant weaknesses in the internal controls, such that public money would be put at risk. It is therefore their opinion that the systems of internal procedure of Weymouth Town Council are well established and followed. Notwithstanding that, they did find a couple of things which we need to just review, so that we can just make sure that we do dot the i's and cross the t's, but they're not significant and are not they're being pointed out as pointers to improve upon a very well-ordered system rather than anything indicative of any significant failings. So normally the financial regulations in our legislation dictates that the report has to come before councillors at its next full council. Therefore, the standard wording of the recommendation is normally that full council notes the completion of the interim audit and offers any observations to the Finance and Governance Committee to consider in more detail. Unfortunately, we've managed to have a Finance and Governance Committee before this full council, so they have already had that opportunity to review the report. So the recommendation which we from Finance Governance is that full council formally notes the completion of the internal audit.
Councillor Sibbald.
Thank you. With my Chair of Finance and Governance hats on, firstly, very happy to propose that. Thank you, Deputy Town Clerk, much appreciated. And just to highlight, if people aren't aware, as Ian says, it's been through F&G, we voted on it and it was agreed unanimously by the 9 members present at the time, which was 3 of our groups. I don't think you have anyone on F&G this year, do you? No. You're missing. Not universally, but thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? No, and in that case, we would look at the recommendation, which now reads that the full council notes the completion of the interim audit. To ask all those in favour, please.
Might need a seconder.
Oh, sorry, seconder. Councillor O'Leary will second. So all those in favour?
It's unanimous, Chair. Thank you very much.
Again, Ian Mill will now take us through risk management and internal controls.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So each year we're required to bring the corporate risk register before full council, and that is what we are doing today. Again, the internal auditor has reviewed the corporate risk register and they have concluded that it's a comprehensive approach. It includes analysis of all risks typically associated with council in this side and with its range of services and facilities, and I have no doubt the council takes its risk management responsibilities seriously, which is quite nice to hear. There are 4 active risks which we are still managing. They are around staff wellbeing, which is where we get the data from that is from the staff survey and sickness records. We still have just got a bit of work to make sure that wellbeing is at the level that we are happy with. There's a risk around health and safety. An awful lot of work has been done over the last year by myself and the assistant town clerk. And for us to review that score, we just need to go through a full cycle to make sure that that work has been embedded and actually that those risks have been managed. And the final ones are around IT. And I'm pleased to report that we have done, again, significant work over the last year through penetration testing and a review from external sources of our hardware. And that work is ongoing. And again, for us to revise those scores, we do a bit more work to do around an information audit. And we're also going to do some phishing testing. And once those are complete, then we will look at those scores with a view to revising the phishing.
Anybody like to call Councillor Sibbald?
Thank you. As before, it's exactly the same on this item at the F&G report, and I'm very happy to propose it.
Councillor Northam. Sorry, I've got this column.
It's all right, no worries.
Names. Do apologise. Councillor Northam. So all those in favour?
It's unanimous again, Chair. Thank you.
recommendation accepted. And we now move on to the asset register. Again, Ian, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have to say, I say this every year as it stands here, this is the data for the asset register is not the best. We had a discussion at Finance and Governance where it was recognised that we could now got the budget to purchase a system where we can record our assets. It will be much better as we go forwards. We need to bring the asset register again before full council for approval. It is a snapshot in time. It will change from week to week, but it is that snapshot of February of what our asset register is. We just need that to be formally approved.
Any questions? Councillor Hunt.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to thank the staff for actually updating the form to include the ward locations on that. That was a request I made last year, so it's really, really useful for us as board members to understand what we own, what we've got an influence of over our wards. So thank you very much for taking that comment on board.
Councillor Toff.
I'd just like to ask, I noted that the asset register includes the toilet block in my gardens. Is that now sorted and it's officially ours, so we can move forward with doing something? Thank you.
Councillor Weller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks very much for getting the asset register so comprehensive now. I think that's excellent. I really look forward to the new programming so that you're able to manage that in a more successful way. I would just like to say, I clearly need to get a life. I spent a lot of time this afternoon going through the asset register. I'm really quite concerned that we're not sweating our assets nearly as well as we should be. There is an awful lot of income generation potential there. I think with that new programme, it will be much easier for us to check on that. And I hope that both the asset management group and the income generation group will work closely together so that we can find that we're getting the very best value for our assets for our residents in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Orr.
Thank you. Very much in favour of ordinances. We can manage one way of being done in Weymouth. I've a few in mind, actually, and was just query the on Greenhill, the bowling, I think it's got locked land drains, which are causing all sorts of leakage issues into the buildings around it.
Can you speak up, John? Sorry, I can't hear.
The subsidence, also on Greenhill, and the prom, its services quite poor in places. So I understood that they were still responsible for Dorset Council. So what's the case?
So as per, I think it was the last finance and governance meeting, just agreed ahead of terms of Greenhill Gardens. So we're currently working under a memorandum of understanding with Dorset Council for the operation of Greenhill Gardens and the promenade. But due to the ongoing complexities of the promenade and trying to get an agreement in place with Dorset Council that they will undertake the works on the promenade, we've separated, and the works at Greenhill Gardens are substantial, including the blockages within the building. So we've separated the two. So going forward, we just agreed that the Greenhill Gardens lease will be separated for 3 years, I believe it was. So we're going to have separate lease for Greenhill Gardens. So it gives them 3 years to look at subsidence, blockages, any other issues within gardens, and also something myself and town clerk are working on is constantly working, trying to get Dorset Council to agree the specification for the works that we carry out on the promenade before we sign term ownership.
Good, thank you.
Brilliant. So therefore, if we could go to the recommendation, please, that full council is asked to approve the asset register as Appendix C. Proposed by Councillor Sybil, seconded by Councillor Weller. All those in favour?
It's unanimous, Chair.
Right. The annual review of insurance, again, Ian, if you could take us through that, please.
So this is the one which you'll understand if you're just a single town clerk why you would need members' involvement to make sure that the insurances which requires a council in place are actually the policies are, they suit us and they've got the correct indemnities there. So we are proposing to renew our insurances on the same basis. The internal auditor has checked those amounts for the what do you think? Take a look. There we go. So the limits of indemnity, that's what I was going to refer to. So they've checked that they're as they should be, and we are happy with that. We noted at Finance and Governance Committee that the fidelity guarantee, which is basically an insurance which stops me or protects the council from me taking all of the money out and disappearing. We are approaching that £5 million sometimes we hold, so we will keep that under review and update that if we get funds in our bank account, which exceeds the moment. But the proposal is that we renew our insurance as per the current terms.
Anybody wants to comment? Councillor Atkinson.
Yes, thank you. I wonder what the level of public liability is appropriate for the RAFs. The limit per person is 500,000. The limit per event is 2 million. So there would need to be over 7 events on the RAFs to reach the required £50 million public liability. So could the RAFs or should the RAFs be insured as a separate public liability as a lower value like £2 million? And I suggest that this is something that the senior leadership team should talk with the finance officer about, but not discussed in this meeting now because of time.
I've been, just for clarification, the personal accident relates to staff and councillors rather than the public. So that's just if anything happens to staff in the course of that business, that covers that. So that's sort of separate from the public liability insurance. Obviously, we are having conversations around the RAS and the indemnity and public liability insurance as we speak. So that will be informed for council as and when we go forward through an issue from environmental services.
Anybody else? Right, so the proposal is that councillors agreed to recommend full council that the current insurance policies and arrangements be continued for 26-27. I've got a proposal. Can I have Councillor Bell to second? And then all those in favour, please.
That is unanimous.
Right, item 13.
What should we call it? Seems to be there. What should we? Seems
Doesn't look suspicious at all, councillor Flynn.
So I'll ask the town clerk, please, if she will introduce this report, which is the Dorset Council and Town Council Statement of Reasonable Expectations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And the prize for the worst acronym in local government tonight goes to the SOAR. So the document in front of you tonight represents quite a long piece of work by Dorset Council, DAPTC, which is the Dorset Association of Parish and Town Councils, and parish and town councils themselves. All parish and town councils in Dorset are being asked by DAPTC to take this to their full council meetings to ask A, if they support the document, and B, for any feedback prior to wider discussions at the DAPTC AGM on the 14th of March. And Councillor Weller will be attending that meeting for Weymouth Town Council, and I will also be attending to support. The SORE is a draft charters type document designed to foster collaboration and define working relationships between Dorset Council and the 152, I think we're at, parish and town councils within Dorset. Councillors may recall that this document was not progressed at a Dorset Council Overview Committee back in November 2025, and work has been done on the document since then. DAPTC are confident that Dorset Council Cabinet will give a clear view before their AGM on the 14th of March. However, I have been unable to determine exactly what date that is going forward. So there is a little lack of clarity on that at the moment. And Madam Mayor, councillors, I'm sure have read the report and we've read the draft document, and so I'm happy to respond to any questions. Oh, sorry. For clarity, and as I have been asked, the signatories are Dorset Council and DAPTC, and DAPTC will be signing on behalf of all 152 parish and town councils, rather than Dorset Council doing 152 versions and getting each parish and town council to sign separately.
Shame.
So the SORE will give an overarching framework of mutual respect and agreements to future partnership working, but will not dictate or supersede individual discussions on the individual pieces of partnership working. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I think Northern and Councillor Northern and Councillor Relict.
Thank you. I was part of the overview committee at Dorset Council, and the first time round, what was presented to the committee was far more complex than what you see in front of you now, and had a supporting document which wasn't appreciated by many members. And as such, what's gone forward now is a simplified document, which I think sets out in a sensible manner how parties might come together to discuss. And what's being discussed is really important, because it's about how Dorset Council, which sometimes can seem a bit distant, can be brought closer in some of its activities to parish and town councils. My belief is that not all parish and town councils are equal or have the same concerns. So my expectation, my personal expectation, is that there isn't a one-size-fits-all model that will come forward. And I see that there's potential for different models to suit different purposes. So I'm looking forward to engagement between Dorset Council and the town councils, particularly Weymouth Town Council, for the best model for moving forward the things that are described in this SORE in the future. I'm not a believer that Dorset DAPTC is the best placed body to represent a group of Weymouth Town Council or a bunch of Weymouth Town Council and adjacent councils, shall we say. In the, as you mentioned, 150 town and parish councils that are in the list, not all are members of DAPTC. There are some councils which don't have elected representatives, in that there was no lost the word, somebody help me. They are
Contested election.
they're not in a contested election, so they're elected either by default or actually they're asked to become
Co-opted.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, co-opted. I think we've got a lot that we might want to say. And the only bit I'd caution is we don't want to recreate Weymouth and Portland Borough Council in moving forward. We've got to look to work with Dorset Council in a sensible way. But this document, I believe, provides a framework which will enable us to do so. So I'm in supporting this document. Commend it to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not going to vote against it because I think it's a start. But basically, it's just a bunch of words, in my view. If this is better than what you started with, Councillor Northern, then I can only shudder at what it started at.
Yes.
Because it hasn't, in my view, got very much further forward. It needs to be much shorter, much more concise, much more focused. So I hope as we move forward, we'll achieve that, but I'm not terribly impressed with it at the minute. As I say, I won't vote against it because I think it is a start. It's a good way of going forward. Clearly, we should all be working together. But this isn't a good encouragement for that at the moment.
Councillor O'Leary.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I would have voted against it had it been the original document before us this evening, but I think and it shows you the value of overview committee to Dorset, that what's come back is a far better document. I'm a little bit sceptical of these types of agreements and arrangements. And I don't tend to think that councils like Dorset are looking at us to look after us. I think it's more of a case of looking to hand things down to us in the future, which is understandable in many regards. So therefore I will be voting for this tonight, and I think it is a far more positive document than one that we brought forward a couple of months ago back in November, so I will be voting for it.
Councillor Sybil.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I echo the sentiment about working together with both Dorset Council and the other councils, the parish level councils such as us within Dorset. That makes perfect sense. We don't all live in isolation. It would be daft not to agree to move in that direction. But yeah, it does feel like the introduction to we need to upskill you so that we can provide you so that you can be responsible for more services ongoing, and therefore use your own preset local lower level councils to fund those elements. And that isn't ideal. However, in a world where central government does not fund local government anything like sufficiently enough, whatever the colour of government in power, then I don't really see how they have any other option. But no, I'm minded to support it. Thank you.
So we're going to go to the recommendation now, nobody else. So the Bs offer any comments to be taken to the meeting. We haven't got any, I don't think we have,
I think, if I can, Madam Mayor, I think, Nikki's been taking notes as we've been going through for the minutes, and, Councillor Weller will be able to use those at the DAPTC meeting.
Thank you. So therefore, can the officers recommend that full council agree to support the draft SOR and offer, and the comments, Councillor Weller take those forward to the AGM in March. All those in, sorry, I need a proposer, please. Councillor Northern, I'm going to choose somebody else, Councillor Sybil, so I think you're doing so well. Something as I can. That's Councillor Day over there, please. Thank you. All those in favour?
Is unanimous of those present and voting. That's. That's not a bit in the services.
What did we think?
Well, wow.
We heard it away. Just into it, we're on there.
Thank you. So we now turn to agenda item 14, which is the Towns of Culture Legacy. And I'm going to ask the town clerk please to introduce this report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So, councillors, this report essentially has two elements. The first is to approve the setting up a partnership between this council, Portland Town Council and Chickerell Town Council to facilitate the ongoing legacy of the Dorset Towns and Culture programme in 2025 that we went through. The second part is to determine councillors' appetite to bid for the National Town Culture title, which is for 2028. I did hear earlier this week that Portland Town Council has decided to submit a solo bid, but would also like to be part of a joint bid with us and Chickerell Town Council. Again, Madam Mayor, councillors will have read the report and the background detail, and I am happy to respond to any questions that there may be. Any questions?
Councillor Weller.
Thank you very much. Just a confirmation of a couple of things, if I may, Town Clerk. The initial lead on this is going to be predominantly Weymouth Town Council?
For the
partnership.
The partnership, we're hoping to operate it in a similar way that we do the Tri-Town meetings, so that each of the councils will take turn in posting the agenda and will rotate the level of work.
Okay. And the other question, to make absolutely sure that we're getting good value, this is going to be a relatively minor piece of work. We have the capacity within our current workloads and everything, it won't take away.
For the partnership.
But for the
Yes.
partnership work,
Yeah.
coming on to the national, do we get funding for that national bid initially and then funding as we take it further forward? Is there any funding for us making the national bid?
If I may, Madam Mayor, so to make the initial expression of interest, we do have some funding for the Towns of Culture that we're able to use, so that is fully funded and is being done by an external party. If we're successful in the expression of interest bid and we're selected to be one of the applicants, I think it's £60,000. The councils, whoever it is that puts the bid forward will get, and part of that funding will be used to work up that full bid. And if we're successful in the full bid, I think it's £3 million. And obviously part of that will be used to bring in a project manager, because something like that is far beyond what we can deliver locally. We would need to bring in the expertise for that.
Lovely.
So very minimal impact resource wise on the town council.
Thank you, that, I just wanted confirmation of that. Thank you very much.
Councillor Northam.
I was going to ask a similar question and I'm not sure I understood the answer.
Oh.
So if I can ask for a clarification. To my mind, so taking the first bit, the continuing working with the small, taking the legacy forward, that's fine. The national position, making a statement or an expression of interest, I understand that's fully funded out of residuals and such like, so that's great. But putting in a proposal to be the town of culture, that's not a trivial activity, and that will involve, I would have thought, officers, potentially councillors and members of the public, and putting something together. And I wouldn't have expected that to be funded. Did I mishear that?
No, if the successful applicants from the expression of interest stage, if you're selected to go forward and invited to put in full application, you do get, I'm pretty sure it's £60,000.
£60,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that might, yes, it's in the report there in background information, so you get 60,000. No, that's something else. That's a different £60,000, but it is £60,000, and that is used for here it is. DCMS will award bid development grants of £60,000 to each shortlisted place who are invited to submit a full application. So that is funded.
Okay, that removes my potential of worry, so that's good. The last bit, in your intro, you mentioned Portland Town Council wanting to go on its own. Part of me says, good luck to them. Portland is a changing place and it has a vibrant cultural and artistic activities going on there. And I can understand why they might want to promote that themselves. And I think that if we were to put in parallel bids, it seems a bit odd that there's a bid which is Portland on its own and a bid which is not Portland on its own. And I'm not sure how that would be viewed by the committee, and I think advice should be taken on that matter.
Yep, so we have taken advice from DCMS, who have been quite limited in the information they've given us, and they've limited their advice to councils can support more than one bid going forward, which is where Portland have got to, and they want to submit a solo one just for the Isle of Portland, but also be part of a joint one with Weymouth and Chickerell. And it's within the gift of members to say, we don't wish to support any bids, we'd like to support a solo Weymouth bid, we'd like to support a joint bid, and that is the instruction we've come before you tonight to ask what it is you would like us to do with the 2028 programme.
So just to respond to that, personally, I'd like to see us going forward with the Weymouth, Portland and Chickerell bid. That is, following through the work from last year. And I think that would have power and emphasis. And if we can persuade Portland to drop its solo bid, that would be a good idea. I think we're stronger together than we are separately. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I fully agree with recommendation A, that we continue the work we've been doing with the two other councils. I think it's been gratefully received by the voluntary and community sector, and seeing some of the activities and workshops that have happened over the last 12 months. I think it's been a real good collaboration of networking, sharing ideas, sharing resources, and proves what can happen in a great way when organisations work together. I am slightly concerned though by the fact that Portland may go alone. If you're at the party, share the cake, in my view. Don't go and try and smuggle your own one, is my view on this. So I am slightly concerned that
Your pies.
we share. But it's very much, I'm concerned that how that will proceed, that are they in this 100% as recommendation A and want to work collaboratively? Or have they got their own agenda? And I'm slightly concerned by that. And I would have really, liked to have seen tonight that Portland are 100% behind this, as Chickwell are, and we will jointly be putting forward this application. I very think it shows more strength rather than two bids going in with one person's name on it.
Yeah.
For that reason, I won't be suggesting that regardless of our what Portland do, we'll put our own money in also, because I don't believe that is the right way. I think it actually weakens the case. So I'd be interested in actually talking to Portland Town Council and saying, look, just get behind this 100% as we are.
I don't wish to go into all the detail of the work of another council because it's not my place within this meeting of Weymouth. However, my understanding is that Portland Town Council really want to be are committed to that joint bid. However, a third party has gone to Portland and said, we wish to fund and put in a bid for Portland. And that's not being led by Portland Town Council, as I understand it. They have been asked to support a third party bid from an organisation of Portland that wishes to put it in. So it wasn't their instigation. They didn't go out looking for that, it came to them. I'd be happy to talk about that after the meeting, but I don't feel it's for a public meeting.
Councillor Weller.
Are we able, town clerk, to, clearly we need to vote on it this evening. Are we able to make some sort of comment, to order? It's interesting that it isn't Portland Town Council themselves putting in the bid. That's very helpful to know that. But it is a little divisive, even if it's a private company who want to fund Portland but don't want anything to do with us. That's a little divisive, I think. And I think if when you're in discussions with people, you can say that it's caused, I think, certainly concern to me, disquiet, and I think to some others as well. But it's very helpful to know that this isn't a separate Portland Town Council bid, because that actually would seriously affect how our joint bid would be. But it's a bit of, well, we're hedging our bets, which I don't like the idea of at all.
Councillor Dickinson.
Thank you.
Yes.
I found myself agreeing with Councillor Northern and Councillor Mann. We've made it look quite divisive if we sort of supported that Portland go all out on their own. Really, we are better together. I mean, if it was Weymouth, Portland and Chickwell all together, we could achieve great things, couldn't we? But I don't think it's a good idea to just say, oh, Portland, you go and do it all on your own. No, I just don't think it would look good.
Anybody else?
Um,
Sorry, just before you
yeah.
come back, you already spoke.
Yes.
Can I just have Councillor Siddle? Thank you. Come back after that.
No, much appreciated. I think the work that was done for our joint work, start again. The joint work that was done for the Town of Culture for 2025 was absolutely superb. And in retrospect, I think, and I very much include myself in this, and we as councillors could have done more to support that. I think I was quite late to the party in getting it, for want of a better phrase, and I do regret that. To echo Councillor Hope's point earlier, the feedback from the wider community locally is absolutely superb, both on the island and here on the mainland. So anything we can do to try and extend that legacy is fantastic. frankly, anything that we can do, especially in the sort of cultural area with our neighbours in Chickerell and Portland as well, is to be embraced. It doesn't sound like the initial stages take up a huge amount of time, and what money is required is there. And whilst I understand my colleague's concern about Portland having a separate bid as well as a joint one, I don't think materially that matters in the whole scheme of things. If you're assessing, if there's anything like assessing bids in procurement, you assess each bid on its own merit, and it's not, oh, you've bid for that with them and that. For example, if a business applied for some work and on their own and applied as part of a joint venture, you wouldn't look unfavourably at either of those halves. You just take them on the merits that they are. Also, do you take each on their own merits as presented? And I think that would be the same case here. Thank you.
Councillor Norton.
I'd just like to clarify, in the text, it talks about Weymouth, Portland and Chickerell. In the recommendation B, it only talks about Portland and Weymouth. And should B include Chickerell, because it's talked of as a joint bid. That's what I talked about and others talked about.
Oh, I see.
If it said that, I'd be happy to vote on B.
Is Chickerell on board already? Sorry.
They are taking, sorry, if I may, they're taking it to their next full council meeting in March.
Thank you.
And could I suggest that we defer C until we know what Portland Town Council decided, rather than speculate?
Sorry, if I wasn't clear in my introduction, I heard earlier this week that Portland Town Council have taken it to full council and agreed that they would like to do a standalone bid and a joint bid.
But you just said the standalone bid is not being done by Portland Town Council.
No, each of the bids has to come from a town council, but Portland Town Council were approached by a third party who said, we wish to do this bid, will you sign off on it for us?
Okay.
So they wish to do both.
And may I suggest an amendment to C? Well, not.
I mean, essentially C it was if they decided not to be part of a joint bid, because when I wrote the recommendation, we didn't have that information for Portland, so you could drop C completely, Madam Mayor, because it's no longer relevant, because Portland has decided it would like to be part of joint bid.
In that case, I think our notes should note the concerns that have been raised by members about there being a separate Portland bid in competition, inverted commas, with the joint bid. And we believe there's more strength in a joint bid representing the whole area.
And I would be more than happy to feed that back to the partnership working manager.
Can we just clarify here, so agree the Weymouth Town have been part of the joint bid with Portland, and should it have a Chickerell?
Yes, so I've added that in on the one behind you, Madam Mayor. My apologies for that error.
So, anybody else wish to comment on this? No, so I'm going to ask for a proposal then.
I have to propose again now.
Right, I'll have councillor Thurman then to propose, and I'll use councillor Sybil then to second. That the full recommendation is, sorry, can we take it?
Madam Mayor, can we take it in two halves?
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah. So we're going to do A, which agreed that the full council agrees to enter into a culture, heritage and arts partnership with Portland Town Council and Chickerell Town Council. It's been proposed and seconded. All those in favour, please.
And that is unanimous, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
We then go on to B, which agrees to the Weymouth Town Council being part of a joint bid with Portland Town Council and Chickerell Town Council for the National Towns of Culture 2028.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I'm not sure who proposed and seconded it, I might have missed that. But if it's not yet been proposed,
It has, I was just about to ask for that.
okay, can I make an alternative proposal?
Amendment.
Well, it's not been proposed, so it's not an amendment yet.
Right.
If the proposal and seconded was just for A, then
It was just for A, because we're taking it, so
Then councillor Hope has.
And I'd just like to add the words that with a single application.
So should Portland decide it wished to put in its own, we would not put one in at all. Is
I
that-
don't think so. I think there's more merit in supporting Portland in writing and supporting Portland, but that's my personal view and that's why I'd like that debated if possible.
Okay.
There's some detail I would love to bring to the debate, but unfortunately I can't, I don't know, in public.
No,
Can we
So
discuss
for
it in,
You could, yeah,
let's discuss it in.
that's a proposal, so it can be.
So where are we now? Sorry.
So the proposal
Yeah.
is that, but the
We've done
proposal,
A, we don't know.
we've done A. A's in the bag, that's safe, we're taking that home. Thank you, councillor.
Who's your second thing?
I don't decide it, so was it just?
No. I don't anticipate Chickerell putting in a separate bid. Let's go through conditional town at the house or submitting a.
So, there will. So can I just ask the town clerk please to read out what I'm going to ask for a proposer and seconder for now?
That full council agrees to Weymouth Town Council being part of a joint bid with Portland Town Council and Chickerell Town Council for the National Towns Cup 2028, conditional on Portland Town Council not submitting a solo bid. Which the implication there is if Portland do submit a solo bid, we won't be submitting a joint bid.
can we, in which case, could we also vote on the original proposal as written?
Right.
Because
Because I've proposed this, so the mayor's.
You've got to vote this down and
Then we can debate.
So if there's a proposal, if there's a seconder, assuming you proposed it,
Right, so this, councillor Ware, are you seconding?
then it can be open to the debate.
Right, so we're now on the debate. Did you want? Anybody want to speak on it?
yes, I think that comes across as being, and I'm sure it's not the intention, but I think it comes across as being quite parochial. It's, you're not allowed to go, there is no reason when you're bidding for things where you can't put in more than one bid in a range of ways. That's normal in all sorts of different areas of life. And the fact that it's a third party that's coming and going, "Do you know what, actually, Portland, you might have something a bit special here, let's focus on that. Frankly, you're not going to need to put a lot of effort in, but we'll promote it for you," then off we go. And I appreciate, town clerk, that you have information that we can't discuss now. I get that, but Portland having its own bid does not in any way undermine Portland being part of the joint bid with us at all. I appreciate it might put a few people's noses out of joint, or it might feel a bit, sorry, that's the wrong way to put it, apologies. It might feel a bit awkward or slightly undermining a joint bid, but I wholeheartedly don't believe that's the case. I will be voting against that, because I think we should be supporting a joint bid irrespective of what the other parties decide to do. If they want to put in a joint bid with Sherborne for no apparent reason, then crack on, good luck to you. For the sake of argument, I don't imagine that's in the pipeline.
Councillor Brown.
I would like the opportunity to vote on a joint bid. Given that the town clerk has told us that Portland Town Council has voted to put in a bit, to join with us and to put in a separate bid. If we vote to put in a bid conditional on Portland Town Council not submitting a solo bid, but we know they have already voted to put in a solo bid, that's us saying, no, we're not going to put in a bid. And I would like us to put in a bid. So
Absolutely.
I would like us to have the opportunity to vote for an endeavour jointly with Portland. And I agree with everything councillor Zibble said about putting in two bids, not weakening our case.
Councillor Atkinson.
If B is defeated, will we then go back to having the original B voted as an option?
And somebody proposes it.
It wasn't bad, it just.
Councillor Ware.
Well, thank you very much. I think actually this is absolutely the reverse of parochialism. I think that Portland are being rather parochial and putting in their own bid and not joining with us, but that's splitting hairs maybe. I just wonder whether we're having the debate without all the information that the town clerk may be able to give us. So if it's possible, we voted on A and we've got that in the back, so that's fine. Can we move on and come back to B, because the information that you're going to give us or share with us may make a difference to how the debate continues and how we eventually vote. It may make everything much clearer, it may make it muddier, but none of us know at the moment. So I think we're debating with only half the picture at the moment.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to clarify my position here, and it's not sour grapes. This is very much if Portland has a fantastic application in conjunction with a third party that is planned for that full spend, why would they then want to join an application that would water down what they've got planned to support a joint application on something completely different? I just struggle to understand that. If they're working with a voluntary or community sector or a private entity to try and achieve this money to deliver a fantastic cultural experience on Portland, which is only a stone's throw away, our residents can benefit from. It's good transport networks. You might even have our own buses in place by then and be able to take residents over or support it in various ways so it's accessible to our residents. Why would we then want to step in the way of that by another bid competing with their bid? And it is very much chicken and egg. There is two sides to this, but Portland have got this great bid that they need to go alone on. That could have been our joint bid still. Or B, are we going to put something else in the mix that's then competing with something that they actually really want to do and they've got someone lined up to deliver it? This is nothing about discrediting anyone's application or anything like that. I just kind of feel like Councillor Wallace says we don't have the full facts here. And there's obviously hot off the press information that wasn't available writing this report or even long before this meeting. I'm wondering whether or not I seek advice here from the town clerk, whether or not we could go into exempt to share this and whether then you could be more open with what the situation is.
Yeah. Call for it,
may help us.
Call for it, I'll second it. Makes sense.
What we don't want to bid, just do it.
Have no opinion on that.
Will you vote for it? Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. I was just looking up to the standing orders now.
So if there is a proposal to move into confidential session and that is duly seconded, then there's a vote, Madam Chairman, and then we can move into confidential. And I can share.
So we have the proposal from Councillor Hope, seconded from Councillor Thurman, and can I ask for a vote? All those in favour of going into confidential session?
That is unanimous.